bit of a different type of a series. We're sticking on the TV series genres, but we're talking about Jehanabad, which is the story of the Bihar jailbreak in 2005 and kind of all the events leading up to it. So this is a 10-episode web series, and this event saw hundreds of Communist Party of India, or the Maoist for short, members marched into town and free imprisoned comrades, resulting in a dramatic showdown with security forces. The series weaves together like three plot strands that all intersect in the run-up to jailbreak, including the romance between college student Kasturi, who's played by Harshita Gaur, and her English professor, her English professor's name is Abhimanyu. Like I said, apologies on pronunciation, played by Ritwik Bhowmik. And just the planning of the jailbreak to rescue the leader, Deepak Kumar, and the politics surrounding an upcoming election in the region. This was created by Rajiv Barnwal and directed by Satyanshu Singh. And the jailbreak is really like the driving force behind all the events in the series. So, whenever I was watching this, you kind of like what this film or what the series really does is it gets you in the headspace of two like conflicting political parties. One, we have the Maoists here, whose leader has been imprisoned, and there's a lot of historical context on this as well, which I am not educated enough to give you all of that. Highly recommend to go read that for the context, but it gives you this sort of backdrop of how someone was imprisoned, and for what reasons. And at the time, like these two ideologies just really, clashing against each other, and the sort of conflict that came with that. The show balances, like I said, the love story, I was talking about before, with elements of a conspiracy thriller. The Maoists meticulously plan the jailbreak, and ultimately later in the season, the jailbreak actually occurs, which is a very like climactic moment. So throughout the entire thing, you're watching this sort of, I would say, these people plotting to get their leader out, and the motivations behind it, and why they necessarily want to do this. It also happens in like broad daylight too. The jailbreak, it's a very intense scene. There's meetings in darkened corners, deception in broad daylight. There's a lot of elements to this that really make you not only want to watch the jailbreak, like you're anticipating it, but when it happens, it's very, very captivating. So in that sense, it kind of brings out this little actiony side to it that I wasn't expecting. Because in the beginning, it really does seem this is just sort of like a love interest type story, and there's a subplot of like a jailbreak happening. But as it really progresses, you really see like, these two clashing ideologies and these two perspectives of India at the time. And ultimately, I believe this was also like historic, like it's historically fiction, right? So it's not to the T accurate, but nonetheless, I felt like I, benefit a lot from this. Just worry about this little event. If we're talking about some of the performers too, as I said, we had a Harshita Gaur as Kasturi, very like determined and perky character. We had Rajesh Jays and Sonal Jha as Kasturi's long-suffering parents, and I always enjoy watching people like Rajesh and Sonal like play these kinds of parents, because in like series and in movies, you'll see that some of these like veteran or like some of these older actors just do it so naturally. Like they can show pain, but they can also show like parental skills just very naturally. Like a lot, like unless they're I would say the main character, always the parental side characters like do a very good job of just like bringing some extra drama. The well-meaning police officer Jagesh is played by Satyadeep Mishra, who also had a very standout performance, because there was, like I said, well-meaning police officer, right? So it was kind of this person who worked in police, who worked closely with the jail, who kind of understood both sides. He was kind of conflicted, in the whole ordeal. But in conclusion, I say that this offers a very unique perspective on the events leading up to the 2005 Jehanabad jailbreak. There's a love story that can kind of keep you captivated on that. Personally, like I thought it was good for the historical context. The love story is not necessarily, or at least in this sense, was not necessarily what I was coming to look for, but the political backdrop of the election and the depiction of the jailbreak as a conspiracy thriller, I just think it makes it a very intense series and very absorbing to watch. It is